ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and everyone in between, welcome to howtoplaythesax.com, where we are all about having fun, playing saxophone, being awesome and repeating. Now, in this video, what I wanted to do was just talk about alto saxophones and tenor saxophones. Which one's which one should you choose? Alto versus tenor, tenor versus alto, tenor saxophone, alto saxophone. Which one's the right one for you? Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about size first of all. You can see here is my alto saxophone, here is my tenor saxophone. They are quite different in size. Altos are smaller, tenors are bigger, altos are lighter, tenor saxophones are heavier. So, to put a few things into perspective, I am 6 foot tall. I am 184 centimeters tall. The alto sax, the tenor sax, it doesn't really matter from my end. I'm relatively tall. I'm not huge, I'm not enormous, but the tenor sax is a little bit on the heavy side. If you are short, if you are perhaps a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old, if you are perhaps under 5 foot, 4.5 foot, relatively short in the global scheme of things, it's not your fault, it's just the way it is, then maybe the alto might be a good one for you purely because of its size. Alto saxophones, tenor saxophones are heavier, alto saxophones are lighter. By the time you put them on a neck strap, the extra weight around your neck, it can be a thing. But if you're, if you're relatively tall or relatively strong or, that kind of idea, hey, go your hardest, either or. Quickly, let's just look at the shape. You can see the shape of the neck at the top. The shape of the neck at the top, the alto saxophone, let me just put that down there. The alto saxophone, the neck at the top is relatively straight. Yeah, it's got a curve, but it's straight along here. The tenor saxophone has a bend in it. See here, it's kind of curved and bent as opposed to the alto here. Two different shapes. Let's just have a look at the cost. Alto saxophones are probably more popular because largely when a lot of people start learning the alto saxophones, late primary school, early high school, there's lots of them. They're smaller. They've got the same number of parts, but they are smaller and more people learn the alto saxophone. So because more alto saxophones are made in the world, they're a bit cheaper. So, please don't quote me, but ballpark brand new alto saxophones, you're talking a couple of $100s. You can probably get a really cheap one for sort of $200, $300, $400. Like cars, you can get really expensive ones too. Unfortunately, with saxophones, the more you pay, usually the better they are. Okay, yeah, there's a point where the price and the quality does kind of diminishing returns and that kind of idea. But ballpark figures for a cheap and, I won't say nasty, but a cheap alto saxophone, well, you're looking at around $300, $400. For a tenor sax, a brand new one, a cheap one, you're probably looking at $500 or $600, roughly. Okay, roughly, very roughly. Similarly, a U-Butte whiz-bang, a really good quality alto sax, you're probably looking at $5,000, $6,000. Tenor saxophone, a really good one, you're looking at $7,000, maybe $8,000 for a really good one. Now, obviously, that's the top end, so, not all of us have that kind of money, but it's things to keep in mind. Alto saxophones are a bit cheaper. Tenor saxophones are a little bit more expensive because there's not really as many of them. From a sound perspective, the alto sax is smaller, which means that it is higher. It sounds a lot higher. It's a higher pitched instrument. Just have a quick comparison here. Hopefully you know this riff. Here's an famous alto riff. So there's the alto one. Same riff on the tenor. Ah, the wonders of video editing. Here we go. Same riff on the tenor sax. So yeah, the tenor sax is a lot lower, it's a lot deeper, it sounds a lot different. But in the same breath, they're both saxophones. The alto sax and the tenor sax, they're both saxophones, so the fingering is exactly the same. A B, for example, on a tenor sax, one finger, B, A, G. It's the same on an alto sax. We've got B, A, G. It's the same fingering. So a B on an alto sax is the same as a B on a tenor sax. And coincidentally, it's the same on a soprano saxophone and a bari saxophone. So a B is a B is a B when you play it on the saxophone. However, alto saxophones, tenor saxophones, and sopranos and baris are in different keys. And so what that means is if you're playing along with a guitar or you're playing along with a keyboard, you got a friend or you're in a band, you're playing along with a guitar or a keyboard or what's called a concert instrument, we have to change keys, we have to change notes. So the alto sax is in the key of E flat, E for egg, E flat for the alto. Tenor sax is in the key of B flat. And there's a whole heap of musical theory concepts that you may or may not be interested in, and we won't talk about them here, but for the sake of the argument, when a guitar or a piano plays one note, on our tenor saxophones, we play a different note to sound the same. And on our alto saxophones, we play a different note again to sound the same as our piano friends and our guitar friends and our band friends. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Yes, it's a little bit of a brain strain, but hey, you'll get used to it. When you play an instrument like the saxophone, you get used to chopping and changing, and when your guitar and your keyboard and your bandmates say, hey, let's play it in F, you go, oh, alto sax, oh, it's not an F, it's tenor sax, oh, it's different than the alto sax. I can't ask my alto sax friends. Oh, anyway, so the point is they're in different keys, they sound the same, which may or may not be an influencing factor for you when you are choosing between your alto sax, like this one, or the tenor sax. You've probably heard some famous saxophone alto sax riffs on the radio, on your CDs, on Spotify, on YouTube, whatever. Like I just played, Baker Street, alto sax. Possibly a famous tenor sax riff for a rock perspective would be The Heat Is On, Glenn Frey. The Heat Is On. Anyway, there's all different saxophones in different genres of music. Alto saxophones, tenor saxophones, great for jazz, great for rock and soul and funk and blues. Yes, there is classical saxophones as well. Yes, there's ska, and yes, I know of a death metal saxophonist. But the point is, saxophones are very versatile. So from a size perspective, from a weight perspective, I would recommend, unless you are fairly tall or fairly solid, the alto is probably a better way to go because the tenor can get quite heavy after a little while. But the simple solution is you can see, you might not be able to see, but I've got a neck strap, a traditional neck strap, goes around my neck and my sax just hangs. You can get these shoulder strap kind of ideas that distribute the weight. So if perhaps you're a little bit shorter or a little bit thinner or have yet to grow, then maybe a shoulder strap kind of idea for your tenor sax might be a good idea. But throwing it out there, if you're fairly short, maybe go the alto initially. If you are fairly tall, you've got the choice. If you are fairly short, you've probably got small hands. Again, fits the alto just slightly. If you've got big hands, the tenor. Personally, I think it's a personal choice. Maybe you like the sound of the alto, maybe you like the high sounds, maybe you like the sound of the tenor sax, the lower sounds. Either way, saxophones are very versatile. Rumour has it, and again, matter of opinion, The saxophone is the closest musical instrument to the human voice, which means that you can mimic the human voice. And the human voice is a very versatile instrument. So you can play all kinds of things with your voice. Same deal with the sax. Have fun, play saxophone, be awesome, repeat. And with that in mind, it does not matter. Alto, tenor, but alto saxophones and tenor saxophones, they are the most well-known saxophones in the world in space. I would strongly recommend that you play one and go your hardest. Maybe just quickly one more thing, again on the height and the weight concept. If you are a tenor saxophonist, please be aware that when you are sitting down, it's not so bad when you're standing up, but when you are sitting down, this part of the sax here can bump into the chair that you're playing because you put it down by your side. You can bump into the chair, so maybe watch out for the scratches if you're sitting down. But with the alto sax, it does not matter as much. You can sort of hold it away from the chair or in front of you on your lap. Again, little things, subtle differences. Ultimately though, saxophones are awesome. Have fun, play saxophone, be awesome, and repeat. And if you are looking to learn how to play the sax, please visit me at my website, howtoplaythesax.com. We've got heaps of saxophone lessons, we've got heaps of tips and tricks and all kinds of stuff all about saxophones, particularly if you are an older beginner, but you don't have to be. Beginner saxophonists are awesome. All saxophonists are awesome. If you're looking to learn how to play the sax, please come and find me at howtoplaythesax.com. We've got rock, soul, funk and blues. We're not into musical theory. We're into playing by ear. We've got cheat sheets and we've got forums and we've got downloads and we've got hundreds of lessons. Please, my name is Matthew. Thank you very much. I hope that's helped a little bit with the differences between the alto sax and the tenor sax. I want you to have fun and play sax and be awesome and repeat. Tenor sax, alto sax, which one's the one that you like? Which one do you like the best? Please let me know in the comments below. My name's Matthew. Thank you so much for joining me here at howtoplaythesax.com. I'll see you there. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.